Good afternoon, my friends. It is a great pleasure for me to be able to speak with you this evening and to share some thoughts with you. I was listening to your conversations at the beginning of your service, and I wish to make an analogy for you which may help you to assimilate the information that was shared. You have just come through your Christmas celebrations, and I want you to think back at looking at Christmas trees and looking at the trees in particular, that are the modern ones, the ones that are quite new, that have the special lights on them. And look at the lights. At one moment, the lights could be all red and the trees were lit up all red. And then in a flicker of a second, the lights turn blue. And they remain blue for a minute, and then they flick, and then in this flicker again, they're green or they're orange or they're multicolored. Think of yourself as the Christmas tree. That changing of lights from one color to the other happens in a flash of a second. It is a change of frequency, perhaps, a change of focus, perhaps. But the tree doesn't go anywhere. The tree doesn't have to do anything. It's just a slight change of focus. You are divine crystalline energy through your whole entire life. Most people forget that. Most of you forget it in your waking hours because you are busy in your day cooking your food, having your meals, doing your chores, watching television, doing so many tasks, because your focus is not on your spirituality or your divine energy, crystalline energy at that moment. But all it takes is a second for you to shift your focus, not go anywhere, just shift the focus, and you are that energy once again. Just as the Christmas tree changes its color in a second, in a flash. It is that quick. Now, perhaps a year ago, it wasn't that quick because you haven't had the experience of becoming the energy, not becoming, of focusing it, of learning where it is. You are it. You don't go anywhere. You don't do anything. You just are it. It takes a little while to figure that out. But you have reached that point where now it is just a slight thought, a shift of focus, a shift of consciousness, and you are that energy. So think of that Christmas tree, because that is what you are. You are divine crystalline energy of the One I Am presence. Take that with you and remember it. You may proceed with the questions now.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Carl and friends. First question is from several members. Can you tell us about the drones over the U.S.? We are seeing them at night over rural areas such as Preston, Voluntown, and Griswold in Connecticut. My son is seeing them often. He gets a feeling and then goes out and sees them. They are flying low, often in groups of 3 to 4 and more. They are large car SUV size ones. They are silent, no noise can be heard. Who is behind them and what is their purpose? Thank you.
The ones who are behind and are operating those drones are not from this planet. There are your interdimensional friends. They are coming here to how can I say it? They are helping to raise the frequency of the planet. They are sending out frequencies which are raising the vibration of the planet. You have understood that your planet's frequency is going to rise and is rising. You hear of the sun having eruptions and sending out energy towards the earth, which is also helping to change the frequency of your planet and bringing it to a higher frequency. It is now being worked on by your friends in other planetary systems, which are very much aware of the fact that you are on the very, very cusp of a great change. The change, as we have spoken about, will not be easy for many. For you, you have been preparing, you have been growing in your spirituality, you have been raising your frequency, you have been doing many things in preparation. Other people on the planet have been tied down and anchored down into their religious dogmas and think that things are going to remain the same or according to a ideology that they have been preached to and have accepted all their lives. In actuality, that is not going to be the case. And they are going to be the ones in turmoil when they realize that they have not been told the truth for many, many centuries. So the people are people that are going to not know how to handle this. They will be acting out. They will be doing violent things, unfortunately. And it's because they cannot reconcile the fact that they feel one way, but yet the frequency of the planet is changing. And there's a certain discomfort within them, a certain intensity of emotion that is building, and a certain intensity of rage even that is building in them that they cannot control. And unfortunately, that is because they are not fluid in their mind and are able to adjust their frequency and know that they should adjust their frequencies in order to change with what is happening. They are resisting it, and as they resist it, they break emotionally, and therefore they act out. This unfortunately cannot be changed, for everyone has their own free will of how they believe things, how they accept things. So the people who are stuck in their own past ideologies, it is their frequency to, there's their will to do that until they wake up to the point that they realize that they need to change. Some people will never wake up and realize that they need to change. And there will be people who will be who will take their own lives because they can't stand it. They can't stand it anymore because they're in such turmoil and such despair. So this is all part of what has to occur in order for you to achieve a new age. Again, it is unfortunate for those who choose to remain inflexible, to remain anchored into their old beliefs. But fortunately for some of those who are anchored, they will realize that they have been misled, and then suddenly we open up their minds to become more fluid and start to do some changing. Not everyone will go through the experience of having their consciousness totally cemented to a certain frequency and can't stand that at that point. So you are living in a time of great changes and great turmoil, great frequency changes, and we ask you to use these meditations that we've been you have been receiving, because it helps you to open yourself up to the higher frequencies of the worlds of spirit and the higher frequencies of consciousness, and it will help you to become even more flexible and be able to be the ones that can float on the higher frequencies and not drown in our being anchored into the heaviness of what was the earth plane and its old vibrations and thought patterns. I hope you can understand what I have said, and I hope that this brings some clarity for you. The drones that you see are not to be feared. You should feel rejoicing and happy that they are here, because they are here to assist you. There are people who will tell you differently, that these drones are here in order to do some not so positive things to the earth plane. But those are the ones who want you to live in fear. They are the ones who are fighting the changes that are happening, because they do not want to lose control over the minds of the masses, because that's how they receive their power and their importance in their lives. So know that the drones are a very positive aspect of this change of going into the age of knowledge. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you. The next question is from Susan Yu and Karen E. Can you tell us about the mysterious fog in many places in the U.S.? And again, who is behind it and what is the purpose of it? Thank you.
Once again, this is another manifestation of the changes that are happening, of the change of frequency of the planet. Even though there are those who say that this fog creates an odor, it creates irritation, which for some people it does. Think of it this way. Those people who are unaware of what is happening on the earth, those people who are happy to live their lives in their old ways of thinking, are being surrounded by this new vibration. So doesn't it make sense to you that because their frequency isn't changing at all, that they would feel this irritation, this uncomfortableness, this almost sickness, because it's a different frequency and their body cannot handle it, because they have not been doing any modulation of their own frequency as you have been doing? So it is a manifestation of their entrenchedness and their old beliefs and old ideas, that it's a sign of their resistance to what is happening. The fog is just another manifestation of the change of frequency on the planet. And it is, not, and again, something that is not to be feared. You must understand that the frequencies that are changing around you are affecting Mother Earth itself. And because of the change of frequency around the planet, the Earth itself will be changing its frequency. You will be hearing of the magnetic poles shifting. You will be hearing of earthquakes and of tsunamis and many earth changes that will be happening. And this is also due to the fact that the earth itself, its frequencies are being altered and being affected by these higher frequencies. So the earth itself has to adjust to the higher frequency. And these changes within the earth will change the current equilibrium in the plates and cause the plates to shift, which will cause the earthquakes. go back into what you know as I've been referred to as the Book of Books. And when people asked the Grand Master Jesus when the New Age would come, he said he could not tell the day and the hour, but he said, you will know by the signs. There'll be earthquakes. There'll be signs and wonders. These are all the things that are happening, but it is happening because of the change of frequency, and the change of frequency will also affect the physicality of the earth itself. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you. Next question is from Karen E. Excuse me, Karen E. There feels like so much evil energy has been released. Did the Pope open portals to demonic realms over the holidays? And I have been focusing for many months now on the light of truth shining in every dark corner of humanity, literally seeing it burn through like a magnifying glass focuses sunlight into a point of light so fierce it burns through it all the lies, deceit, and falsehoods. Is our collective focus influencing the good people of the world to wake up and see truth? My husband and I said today it just gets weirder and weirder, like a really bad dystopian B movie, so bad it's funny in a sick and demented way, but we are looking forward to the good part of this movie. Any comments? Thank you.
You are correct that the Pope is opening up certain what they call portals or doorways into in the building of the Vatican itself. In that building, what you refer to as evil, I would refer to as ignorance, as the superstitions of the past. Within that building, there are many relics of the old gods of the Greeks and the Romans, and even before that. People had given their power to those beings, those gods, believed that all kinds of mythology about them. But they saw them as human beings on a grander scale. They did not look at them as divine crystalline energy. So this whole concept of an anthropomorphic God, a God in a human form, sitting on a throne in the sky, judging everyone, is going to totally disintegrate within a very short period of time, within the next decade. That will no longer be there. What you think of and what has been described as the devil and the evil is really the dark superstitions and the misunderstandings of what God is. You understand that God is energy and you are that energy. Everyone is God. Even Jesus and the Bible teaches that ye are gods, meaning every human being is God. You all have divine energy in you. So the rituals of going back to these old ways of thinking are going to die away. And the ritual that they're doing now every 25 years in the Vatican, this will be the last time it's happening. So no, they're not opening up the portals to evil beings. They are opening up the portals of their ignorance to be on display. And it will not continue in the future. We have already spoken about why negative things are happening on the planet right now because of the change of frequency. And that is unfortunately going to be happening. So yes, you can take the lens of evil and say these evil things are abound, but they're really the reaction to the positive that is happening, and it's because of the ignorance of the people who are making this evil happen. Their ignorance and being anchored into the old thinking and old vibrations, and they can't tolerate what's happening, and so they act out. And that is what's actually happening. So we ask you to remove that lens of evil and totally make it disintegrate in your mind and understand it is a tug of war between frequencies, and the reluctance of the lower frequencies to modulate into the higher frequencies, and because of their stubbornness to be anchored into the old dogmas and the old ways and their old harder lower frequency, that they are going to implode in a sense and act out. And that is what's occurring. And that's what will occur on your planet. You understand?
Thank you. Next question's from Carol C. I'm seeing reports that the recent truck attack in New Orleans was staged with cameras and lights, etc., as a movie. What really happened? I also hear that 15 people died. Thank you.
What happened in that case is, again, one of a person who, because of their experiences in the military and the horrific things that they saw and experienced, has, for lack of a better word, haunted them for such a long time. They were not able to dispel and they could not get rid of those feelings. So here you have all this positive energy being surrounded the planet, and the planet's being bombarded by them, and he is anchored not even through his own thought, but through his own experience into these negative things. And the negative things become more amplified because he's feeling this positive energy around him. The discrepancy gets to be more and more until he snapped and decided to act out. And that's what caused it. You understand?
Okay, thank you. Next question is from Susan S. Why did Sydney not need the usual music and was able to go into trance so quickly this time? Thank you.
The answer is very simple. He decided to do the consciousness gathering about an hour before the service. So he already started to go into the higher frequencies of being the one I am. Then the service started and you went into another meditation. And then again, the consciousness gathering. So he was at the point of being in the higher frequencies and being able to realize that he could blend with the spirit world very simply with just a quick thought of merging, and therefore did not need. The gap was much shorter today because he was in that energy for such a long time, and that is why the music was not needed. He also felt that just explaining that ahead of time might bring him out of the energy, and therefore he did not want to do that. So he just said what he said to get into the trance state as quickly as possible. You understand?
Thank you. Next question from Susan S. What is the flickering of light occurring as Sydney is in trance? Thank you.
What you are seeing is the manifestation of the vibration of being into the more spiritual energies. If you think about it, You have been taught that every person has an auric field around them, which is the energy from the soul, which is really the one I am energy. And therefore, when people get into an inspired state or a more spiritual state, their aura expands. That is what you've been taught, or it gets brighter. The manifestations that you're seeing is sometimes can happen through the electronic devices that perceive a change of frequency and somehow interpret it as that flashes of light that you see. This has been noted before. Even when the instrument is not in a trance state, there are certain flashes of light that occur in the room around, and it's the way the electronic equipment sense the changes of frequency that happen. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you. And that is our last question. We thank you so much for being here and guiding us. Thank you.
It has been our grand pleasure to be here today and to assist you in your questions and to assist you on your journey and to help you along the way of this historic moment in time where you are wading into an ocean of change of frequency, and a change that will bring about an age of peace and tranquility to your planet, one which it hasn't known for eons and eons and eons of time. So we are happy to assist you and are happy for your learning about being flexible in mind and flexible in spirit so that you can ride the waves of the changing and rising frequencies that surround your planet. We leave you with our blessings and our peace. So be it.